My name is Eleanor, and I'm 62 years old. I live in a nursing home, even though I was still capable of living my own life when my family decided this was easier for them. They didn't call it abandonment, they called it care. They called it planning. They called it temporary. Then they left me here, took my house keys, and never once asked when I wanted to come home. I'm saying this now because time has a way of stripping excuses away, and what's left is simple. My family didn't lose me. They chose a place for me and walked on. I sit near the window most mornings, the same chair, the same view of the parking lot and a thin line of trees beyond it. Cars come and go. People arrive with purpose. They leave without looking back. I watch all of it quietly, like someone who no longer belongs to the movement of things. This isn't how I imagined my early 60s. I thought I'd still be deciding things, what to cook, where to go, when to rest. Small choices maybe, but mine. Instead, my days are scheduled by bells and trays and charts, with my name written in neat ink by people who don't know me. They're not unkind. That's not the problem. The problem is that kindness without connection still feels empty. I'm telling this story now because I don't know how long my voice will feel like my own, and because pretending this didn't hurt takes more energy than I have left. When I look back at my life, nothing stands out as reckless or dramatic. I wasn't a woman who burned bridges or ran from responsibility. I did what was expected, what was praised. In my 20s, I worked 2 jobs for a while, not because I loved work, but because stability felt important. I married young. We talked about the future like it was something you could plan neatly if you just tried hard enough. We had children, 2 of them. I remember holding them and thinking, this is it. This is what matters. I meant it then, but life fills up quickly. Bills, schedules, expectations. I learned to move fast, to multitask, to say later without thinking too much about what that word really costs. I was the dependable one, the calm one, the one who didn't ask for much. People admired that about me. I admired it too for a long time. I thought being easy to live with meant being loved. My marriage didn't end in flames. It ended in silence. Conversations that never quite reached the point. Evenings spent in separate rooms. A shared understanding that we were functioning, not connecting. When it ended, we told ourselves it was mutual. Maybe it was. What I know now is that I was already used to carrying things alone, so the separation didn't shock me the way it probably should have. I went back to work full time. I kept things moving. I told my children I was fine, and because I sounded convincing, they believed me. Years passed that way, quietly. Birthdays marked with quick calls. Holidays rotated between houses that no longer felt like mine. I adjusted. I always adjusted. I didn't notice how much of myself I was slowly setting aside. The first time my health came up as a concern, I brushed it off. Everyone slows down a little, I said. Everyone forgets things now and then. I laughed so no one worried too much. But worry has a way of growing behind your back. Appointments started including my children. Decisions were discussed in front of me, not with me. I didn't protest. I didn't want conflict. I didn't want to seem ungrateful for their attention. I thought cooperation would keep me close to them. The idea of a nursing home came up gently, like a suggestion you could ignore. They talked about safety, about stress, about how much easier it would be for everyone if I had support. I asked simple questions. How long? Can I come back home? What about my things? They gave vague answers, reassuring tones, the kind that sound responsible but don't promise anything real. I told myself not to be dramatic. I told myself families do this all the time. The day they drove me here, I packed lightly. 2 bags, some clothes, a few personal items. I left most of my life behind because they said I wouldn't need it. I remember locking my front door and standing there for a second longer than necessary. I felt something tighten in my chest, but I ignored it. I had always ignored feelings that didn't fit the plan. When we arrived, everything moved quickly. Forms, introductions, a room number, a bed that wasn't mine. They hugged me, all of them, promised they'd be back soon. They said it the way people say take care when they're already halfway out the door. I watched them leave. I stood there longer than I needed to, waiting for the sound of footsteps returning. It didn't happen. The first few weeks were filled with waiting. I waited for visits, for calls, for clarity. I defended them in my own mind. They're busy. They'll settle into a routine. This is just an adjustment period. But adjustments don't last forever. At some point, they become permanent. I stopped asking the nurses if anyone had called. I stopped checking the clock as often. Hope is a heavy thing to carry when it goes unanswered. Life in a place like this doesn't collapse all at once. It thins out. Conversations repeat. Faces change. People disappear quietly. Sometimes they're moved. Sometimes they're gone. No one makes announcements. I learned quickly not to get too attached. That lesson came faster than I expected. The loneliness here isn't dramatic. It doesn't cry out. It sits beside you during meals. It follows you back to your room. It reminds you that you've become someone people think about only when something goes wrong. What hurt most wasn't the distance. It was the way my absence didn't seem to disrupt anything. My children adjusted quickly. That was the clearest sign. I replayed moments from my past, but not the obvious ones, not the arguments or the big decisions. I thought about the afternoons I said I was too tired to talk, the times I chose order over presence, the pride I took in needing very little. I see now how that taught people exactly how much they could take from me. The turning point came quietly. It wasn't a fight or a diagnosis. It was my birthday, 61. I sat with a cupcake one of the aides brought me. She sang softly. I smiled and thanked her. I waited all day for my phone to ring. It didn't. That night, something settled in me. Not anger, not even sadness, just understanding. This wasn't a phase. This was the outcome. Some things can't be undone once you see them clearly. You can't unlearn where you stand in someone's life. You can't go back and ask for space that was already given away. I don't hate my family. I know how life gets crowded. I know how easy it is to believe there will always be time later. What I wish they had done was be honest. I wish they had said, "We don't know how to fit you into our lives anymore." I could have understood that. What's harder to accept is being quietly set aside without a real goodbye. There are things I will never get back. My home, my sense of authority over my own life, the comfort of knowing I mattered in everyday ways. Time doesn't slow down because you regret something. It keeps going, steady and indifferent. I still feel gratitude. That surprises some people. I've had love. I've laughed. I've known what it feels like to belong. But gratitude doesn't cancel grief. They sit together now. If you're listening to this, I'm not offering advice. I'm not warning you. I'm just sharing what I learned too late. Being agreeable isn't the same as being valued. Silence isn't strength if it costs you your place. And temporary decisions have a way of becoming permanent when no one is watching. If this meant something to you, you don't have to do anything about it. Just remember it. That's enough. The light outside my window is shifting. It does that every evening. I've learned the rhythm of it now. I'm Eleanor. I'm still here. And this is the truth of how my family left me in a nursing home, without ever really asking if I was ready.